So right now, I should be sailing on the Nile River, seeing Egypt once again, my favorite place in the world to go visit. But as the universe would have it, there were other plans made out for me. So December was a very challenging month. Many people know that I adopted a dog who is a year old. His name is Atreides, and I adopted him, and it's been wonderful. But along the way, we found out that he has extreme seizures. Now, this was not communicated to me, and I'm not sure if the shelter actually knew that he has these seizures. But he, up to this point, has had 8 seizures with me. So I'm sure you can imagine the first time I experienced it, it was quite traumatic. I literally thought he was dying in my arms. I was in the middle of a session. It was wild. So a lot of money later, a lot of heartache, and a lot of time at the ER and the hospitals. It has come to the conclusion that he has epilepsy that we have to aggressively treat along the way. But along this way, we had Christmas and the holidays and the New Year, and I was supposed to leave to Egypt on the 28th, which was last Tuesday. And I was in San Jose where my family lives, and I was with the dog, and all these events occurred, and it was very clear that I would not be able to go. Well, it just so happens that Monday I would contract COVID, and I wouldn't be aware of it. Now, if I didn't know that and I still had gotten that PCR test in order to travel, it wouldn't have picked it up in enough time, and I would have taken that COVID with me on the plane and into Egypt. Now, I could either be stuck in quarantine in Cairo in a hotel instead of going on the trip, paying a lot more money. I could be stuck getting everybody sick, you name it, the possibilities are there. So when we look at this and we look at the whole possibility of why did all of these events unfold in my life that seem to be traumatic or negative events, whereas everything negative has a positive outcome in the end if we're willing to see it. But during the process, it was very difficult, right? And so I had to go through this entire process of the experience of it and being a human being. And I did get COVID. I am vaccinated, for those of you that are curious about that. The symptoms were not as crazy or intense. That could be due to the vaccination. It could be due to the other practices that I used, or it could be due to the less intense symptoms that are taking place with these new variations. Could be a lot of things. But the point of this video is that the universe really does have our back, even when it seems like all of these negative things are taking place or things that are creating turmoil within us or in our reality. And we could be going through these experiences for a higher purpose or a higher reason. So as I'm moving through this and, I couldn't go on my trip, which is fine because I look at it in the grand scheme of things and I go, it's possible I could get other people sick or be stuck in Egypt at the same time. And when I look at it from that higher perspective of keeping other people safe, I feel peace within myself. I would rather have me go through an experience, process what I meant to learn through it, clear the things within my own body that need to be cleared, and then be able to sit with that and take that as the gift. And so I look at my entire experience in that way. I'm no longer upset. Sure, I was devastated I wasn't going. I've been looking forward to it for the entire year. And I had to cancel it. So of course I was upset. I have the human emotions and the human feelings that we all have. But I also know that everything that happens in our reality is something meant to teach us about us, right? I always talk about that. So during this process also, I'm like, okay, here I am. I don't get ill. I am ill now. So what I'm going to do is employ all of these self-healing practices that I also implement or I teach others. And that's exactly what I did. I pulled out everything that was calling to me at the moment because I was experiencing deep symptoms right on the 31st. So the last day of the year, which would make sense. It needed to clear whatever was in me, whatever wanted to be cleared, it had to clear so that I could be ready for the new year, right? So on the 31st, I had the most symptoms, and I took the day to do the self-healing practices that I teach others how to do or that I talk about, and the things that I've been taught through my mysticism, my mystic teachings, all the different metaphysical teachings that I've been going through, everything, right? So just so that you guys know, this whole video is multi-layered. We're talking about how the universe works out for you, even when it seems it's negative. There's a higher purpose and a higher divine order to everything if you are willing to acknowledge it and see it. Now, the way that I processed the illness so that I could be able to see it for what it was giving me instead of what it was taking from me was I looked at all of the things it gave me. It gave me the opportunity to work with Atreides, my dog, right? And be here and work with him while he's going through us figuring out what his medications are going to be, because he's on 3 different ones if it comes down to that. So we have to process this whole thing, how often he's going to have seizures, blah, 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 blah. I also look at the positive of like, okay, good, because I didn't need to be in the position to activate certain frequencies within other people and have that kind of energy sit with me if I made other people ill. So we're looking at that. And then we're looking at the fact that it gave me the opportunity to work on self-healing practices. So what I did was I began with my meditations. I know that we can do healing meditations. I've done them in the past. I did breath work that dealt with white light. I did breath work that dealt with green light. I breathed into the specific areas of my body that were exhibiting symptoms. And I transmuted the energy in those areas and I breathed it out. So I implemented the different breathwork techniques that I know. I implemented angelic and higher guidance assistance where I connect into my higher guidance, giving them permission to help me process and work through these things. I also look at what I'm learning through the experience and why I'm having the experience. Rather than being a victim to the experience, I decided to take the power back into my own hands and look at what it was teaching me. I also did toning. Now we can use tones from our sacred sound of our voice that can heal the different organs or areas of our body. So I implemented the different toning techniques, one of which focuses on the thymus gland. And I focused on the thymus gland and brought tones into there to uplevel my T cells and to help me, to help my immune system boost. I also drank a lot of water. I did physical things as well that just require you getting better, right? I rested, I meditated, I did a lot of that breath work. There were other things in there as well that I think I did, but they're just not coming to mind right now. Affirmations. This is a big one. This was like the big one. When I would text people or when they were asking me how I was feeling, I was speaking my healing into existence. So even if I acknowledge, I'm exhibiting a headache or I have, a cough or whatever, I would actually say, and it's healing. It's healing in every moment. I'm feeling better in every moment. Actually, I'm going to be even better tomorrow, but right now it's healing in every minute that we're moving along. I literally spoke the healing into existence, and I kept acknowledging my healing and not acknowledging the sickness. And so anytime I was texting, I could catch myself when someone would ask me, I would actually catch it, flip it, and say, and acknowledge the healing. So that's the biggest thing, is acknowledging your healing. Acknowledge the healing experience, not your illness. Because as above, so below, right? If you're acknowledging your illness, you're staying in that vibration and it takes longer for you to heal. Acknowledge your healing. So I did 4 affirmations that I actually use where I say, I recognize my healing power from the universal cosmic intelligence that is in and around me. And then I said, I declare that my healing is taking place. And then I said, I identify my true essence as cosmic intelligence, as source healing. And then I said, and I accept and affirm that healing has taken place. So I didn't settle for illness. I called in healing. I affirmed healing. I acknowledged my healing. Because when you are exhibiting an illness or sickness, you are actually healing at the same time. They come together. So if there's anything that exhibits an illness within your body, it's an indicator that something else is happening as well. It's an indicator that something's taking place. It's telling you something. But many times we go, I'm sick, or they feel victim to it, right? And we have to take that power back and look at what the thing is teaching us in order to overcome it and transcend it. Okay? And that even goes even further down into epigenetic studies when you're looking at the genetics and the activations that can be within the genes that do not have to be activated. That if we transcend those frequencies or vibrations, because everything is vibration, you can overcome those and they don't have to be activated. But with this, something had to be activated within me for me to learn certain things, for me to employ my self-healing techniques and so on and so forth. So we have self-healing available to us at all times if we're willing to be aware of it or implement it. And guess what? Most people aren't aware of it because they're not taught about it, which is why I'm making this video. So this is about understanding that the universe does have your back. Why? Because you are the universe. Because you are actually one and the same. You are not disconnected from it. So you are the universe, which means you have universal power to bring through you. And we're meant to use it. And so I'm making this video to show that even with everything that happened in the month of December, which was, I'm telling you, a lot. I had to process a lot and work through some stuff on a very human level. And honestly, it was all for me. It was all for me up until the 31st. And then on the 1st, I was like, oh, I woke up the next day after doing all the self-healing practices and I felt so much better. Sure, I'm processing, you can hear sinus stuff, I'm processing it, but like I felt so much better. So I want everyone to know that even some of the heaviest experiences that you have all equate to something bigger on the other side. You simply have to work with the energy. You simply have to allow yourself to see what it's giving you and not what it's taking from you. That's very, very important. What is the experience giving you? What are you learning about yourself? Not what is it taking, okay? And then the other part of this is to know that you have self-healing capabilities. That's the other thing. I was doing pressure points. So we have positive charges coming out of our right hand, negative charges coming out of here. Not that's bad or good, but just the charge. And so when we apply the power that comes through to certain areas of our spinal area, you can actually balance out the levels in your body along with breath work and things like that. So using pressure points, using intention, using toning, using breath work is how I implement self-healing practices. And I want you to know that you have that available to you as well if you are listening to this. So we are all good. We have started this brand new year of 2022. And this is the year of love, of compassion, of understanding. Two. That's a synchronistic two across. That's balance, flow, partnerships, harmony, intuition. We have magic unfolding here. So it made so much sense why December would be a very interesting month for me to bring forward a lot of the things that I had to clear in order to be within the right vibration of 2022. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Know that you have cosmic intelligent power that is in and around you. You simply have to access it. And remember that everything seemingly negative has a positive outcome that will show itself in your future. Speak your future into your present. Speak who you are becoming, not what you think you are, because that thing you think you are now is already the past. So let's speak your future into the now. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.